This conference will now be recorded.
Right, let's start today's session. In the last session of Python object-oriented programming, we were discuss about how to create a class and how to implement the methods inside the class and how to access the method logic with constructor, without constructor, difference between constructor and method. We have discussed all these things. Okay, so now in today's session, we will discuss about class is a collection of variables and methods I said, and what are the types of variables are available inside the class while working with that, and what type of methods we can able to work inside the class we'll discuss in today's session. But before that, in the last session I discussed how to display student details in different style. One is multiple print functions we can use for detailed description. Within the single print statement also we can use self.sid, self.sname, self.saddress, and we can use placeholder format also we can display by using dot format function, or else we can also use this one, sir. Final one, someone asked in the last session, just I'm including this formatted string also we can use. You can see F symbol is required here. After that, within the single quotes or double quotes, so self.sname, where you want to display sname, id is self.sid, and address is self.saddress. No format function is required. Directly we can use this F symbol formatted string only we can sort. Let's run this one. Now let's run this one. So now you can see student ID I'm taking 123, student name is Sai, student address is Hyderabad. So Sai ID is 123 and address is Hyderabad. This will also work, sir, here. Okay, this is also work. Even it is here, we can use double quotes also, no problem at all. Even single quotes or double quotes, anyone will work out. So if I try to use single quotes and single quotes, it's okay. Now just try to give the F letter capitals are here. Capital letter F I'm giving instead of small letter f. Let's try with this one also. I'm entering ID, it's again name, address. So this is also working fine, sir. Formatted string, that is F letter should be prefix. This is formatted string. See, these are the styles to display details of student clearly. Okay, yes. Now in today's session, I'm going to discuss about different types of variables we can work with Python class. What are the types of variables are there? Okay. As I said in my previous lecture, class definition is class is a collection of variables and methods. So inside the class, what kind of variables we can work and what kind of methods we can use. So we will discuss now. So first, three types of variables are allowed in class. Three types of variables are allowed in class. So in Python class better, Python object-oriented programming class. First type of variable is instance variables, sir. Instance variables. These also called as object level variables. Next type of variables is static variables. Static variables. These type of variables are called class level. Next one is local variables. Local variables. These type of variables are called method level, we can say. Instance variables, that is object level. Static variables, that is class level. Local variables, that is method level. Okay. So these are the three types of variables are allowed. Same like three types of variables how it is allowing. So three types of methods also there, sir. Okay. So later we'll discuss about three types of methods. So first we'll talk about these type of variables in today's lecture. So first we'll discuss about instance variables, that is object level variables. What kind of variables we can call it as instance variables, and how to recognize the instance variables in Python object oriented programming, and how to delete them, how to access them, all the different ways we will discuss clearly. But only you have to remember each and every point strictly. Whatever I'm writing here, in this case, the statements, every statement's meaningful statement only. I'll give you for every statement's practical implementation now. So please be focused on it. So first we'll talk about instance variables now. What kind of variables we can call it as instance variables means, uh, if the value of variable is varied means different, sir, not same. If the value of variable is varied from object to object, if the value of variable is varied from object to object, then such type of variables are called instance variables. Such type of variables are called instance variables. So if the value of variable is varied from, means one of the value of variable is different from every object to object, okay, then such type of variables are called instance variable. Not same, it's a different. Just a few minutes you can wait, so that you will be able to understand about these statements. I'll give you justification of these statements what I have written here. Okay, this is the definition. Just wait. Now this is called instance variable, but I'm trying to say where we can declare instance variable. Here one thing you have to notice: declaration is different, access is different. Okay, declaration means only we can declare the variable like a equal to 10, b equal to 20, like this. This is declaration. Access means what, we can access that, we can print that, like print a, print b, print c, like this. These are called access. So declaration is different, access is different, sir. Okay. Now where we can declare the instance variable, where we can declare the instance variables, where we can declare the instance variable. Point number one, inside the constructor. Inside the constructor, we can declare variable by using what, self only, sir. We can declare instance variables inside the constructor by using self. Next, inside the methods by using self, sir. Next, last one, outside of the class by using object reference. Outside of the class by using what? Object reference. So these three places we can declare instance variable. Inside the constructor by using self, inside the methods by using self, outside of the class by using object reference. Okay, let's see practical implementation about this one. So let's try to run this. Sorry. Try to create a new programs. Object oriented programming 4. Now you can see Python file, object oriented programming 4 only. Now you can see object oriented programming 4. So here I'm creating a class test class. Just I'm creating. You can take any name of the class, no matter. In this class, I'm creating constructor, sir. INIT. Self dot a equals to 10. This is called instance variable. We can declare instance variable inside the constructor. Okay. Next, we can declare instance variable inside the method also. dfm1 method. Self dot b equals to 20. Okay, inside the method also we can declare. No problem. Next, coming to this here. Give me 1 second. The space is required surrounded with this. That's what it is saying, some underline squigglies. So self dot b equals to 20, sir. Okay. Next, I'm creating object for the class t equal to test. This is outside the class, no? Whatever cursor is blinking over there, this is outside the class. Let me go for format the string. Now, now just observe. This is outside the class. We can declare instance variable outside the class also, like 30 only. So t dot c equal to 30. So this is instance variable. We can declare inside the constructor using self. This is instance variable. We can declare inside the method using self. We can declare instance variable, that is C, outside the class using object reference only. This is object reference. So you know that self will work only inside the class. Self will not work here outside the class. Okay. Now, when we print t dot underscore underscore dictionary. So what output you are expecting? Tell me, sir. Quickly in chat box. I'm printing t reference in the form of dictionary, sir. What output you are expecting? Tell me. E dot underscore underscore dictionary. Because in the last session we discussed clearly. If you don't have any display function to display the values, we can use dictionary method as a special method. So what values you are expecting in the output window? If I try to run this example, then what values are expecting? A10, B20, C30. Sravani, A10, B20. Next, anybody? Ganesh, only 30. Sham Prasad, you are right, absolutely. A10, C30. Okay, A10, C30. This is the correct answer. So why? Because you can see this. You know that line number 9. This is the object creation. When we create object to the class, who will execute? I said in the last session clearly. Constructor will execute. So constructor will execute, and this 10 value will be initialized to A only. Right now, A is holding 10. So T is holding 10 now. Next, T dot C equal to 30. So T's reference is having 30 value. So here T is available what? 10 and 30 only. Let's run this. A value 10, C value 30. Why not B? The reason is B is present in inside where? M1 method. You know very well, method will execute when we call it. But did I call the method? No. So that is the reason B is not going to be initialized to the dictionary here. So that means T is not holding the B reference here. So we didn't call the method. Clearly, I said in the last session, method will execute only when we call it. But constructor will execute automatically as soon as when we create object to the class. So we have not called the method. That's what B is missing. Let's call the method here. To call the method, object reference is required because M1 method is there inside the class only. Now this time you can see A10, B20, C30. Got this? So this is the example which I want to show you, where we declare instance variables. In which places? Inside the constructor, we can declare instance variable using self. Inside the method, we can declare instance variable using self. Outside of the class, we can declare instance variable using object reference. So self will work only within the class, not outside the class. So finally, we are printing T reference, T dot underscore underscore dictionary, A10, B20, C30. So this example is demonstrating where we can declare instance variables. Declare only. Declaration means this one, sir, not accessing. Okay. So this is the first example about instance variable, like where we can declare instance variable in which places. You have to strictly remember. Next, how to access. Next, one more example. How to access instance variables. Okay, how to access instance variables, sir. Next, point number 1. We can access instance variables instance variables within the class by using self, sir. Okay, we can access instance variables within the class by using self. So example is what? Self dot variable name. Okay, access means print only. So we have to use print statement compulsory. Access means print, sir. Declare means no print. So declaration is different, access is different. Next, we can access instance variables. We can access instance variables outside of the class. Outside of the class. Outside of the class. Outside of the class means what? By using what? Object reference. Object reference. Example, print object reference dot variable name. This is the way to access our instance variables. So how to access instance variables means we can access instance variables within the class by using self. Example is print of self dot variable name. We can access instance variables outside of the class by using object reference, print of object reference dot variable name. Print of object reference dot variable name. Okay, this is the case. Let's try to do this. Example, object oriented programming 4 is there. Now 5 I'll create. Sorry. Just let's create again. Python file, object oriented programming 5, sir. Now let's create a class, test class. So def constructor is there. Inside the constructor, I'm taking a value 10, b value 20. Now tell me, inside the constructor, I declare or I am accessing? Only declaration. Okay, I didn't access. Only declaration this is. Now let's try to access this one. Where we can access? Inside the method also we can access. Method will inside the class only. Access means like this, self.a print self.b. This is access. Inside the class, we can access instance variables by using print of self.a only. Same thing, if I want to access this instance variables outside the class, then how we can access? Print t.a object reference, print t.b only. Now this time when we execute, what output you're expecting, sir? Only a value 10, b value 20, line number 12 and 13, or line number 7, 8, 9 also will execute. So only line number 13, 12 and 13 will execute now this time, because 7, 8, 9 is the method related. This method must and should be called. So I didn't call, that's what it will not execute. Now I'm calling, it will execute. So M1 method I'm calling. So inside the class, that means this is class only. Inside the class we have a method. Inside the class we are accessing instance variables by using self. Outside the class we are accessing instance variable by using object reference. Once I start run this, now you can see, sorry, this is other program. Run object oriented programming 5. We got this 1020 and 1020 results. This 1020 is for inside the class. This 1020 is for outside the class only. This is the way to access instance variable now. Okay, next point. Important note I am giving. Just try to observe. Note. We can create any number of objects to the class. We can create any number of objects to the class. Okay. If we change or delete, sorry, we can create any number of objects to the class. For every object, a separate copy of instance variables will be created. For every object, a separate copy of instance variables will be created, sir. If we change or delete one copy of instance variables, if we change or delete one copy of instance variables, then other copy of instance variables will not affect. So we can create any number of objects to the class. For every object, a separate copy of instance variables will be created. If we change or delete one copy of instance variables, then other copy of instance variables will not affect, sir. Other copy of instance variables will not affect. This is the reason I said instance variables means if the value of variable is varied from object to object, then such type of variables are called what? Instance variables, we can say. If the value of variable is varied from object to object, then such type of variables are called instance variables. Okay, I'll give you justification more clearly. Wait a minute. So now I'm trying to show you one quick example how to delete instance variable now. After that, I will come across about this note section. I'll give you justification of this note section also. Now, first of all, try to understand how to delete instance variable also. How to delete instance variable. Okay, we can delete instance variable. We can delete instance variable inside the class or within the class as follows. How to delete instance variable within the class as follows: del space self dot variable name. In Python, to delete any object, we use del keyword, no? So that's what I'm using, del space self dot variable name. Variable name. Next, we can delete instance variable outside of the class. Outside of the class as follows. We can delete instance variables outside of the class as follows. Outside of the class means what? Del space object reference dot variable name. Okay, this is the way to delete. Why I'm showing this delete option means, yes, we'll try to, in next example, one copy of instance variable, if I try to delete, then other copy of instance variable will affect or not. We have to show that. Okay, let's show that. Let's flip to program now. Object oriented programming 6. Now, just observe here, class test. DEF constructor I'm taking. So self dot a equals to 10, self dot b equals to 20, self dot c equal to 30. These are all instance variables I declare inside the constructor. T1 is my object. This is one copy. T2 is my second object. This is another copy. Let's try to create multiple objects, because as per my previous lecture, we can create any number of objects to the class, no problem at all. So I'm printing here T1 copy underscore DSCT dictionary. Printing T2 copy also underscore DSCT only. So T1 copy, T2 copy, both copies are, now you can see, working fine, sir. Same, because when we create object for class, automatically constructor will be initialized. So what values are initializing here? These three values are initializing. So now you can see T1 copy is having dictionary format like A10, B20, C30. T2 copy also is having dictionary A10, B20, C30. Fine, well and good, sir. Now we can try to delete this. So we can delete instance variable within the class as follows: del space self dot variable name. Let's try to delete the instance variable here. Inside the class, I'm trying to delete. Okay. So inside the class means method through I can delete. Okay. Method through I can delete, sir. M1 method through. Or else we can use delete method also, we can use as per your convenience. Okay. So M1 method through I'm deleting. Okay. Let's go for delete method. No problem. Delete. It's not a built-in method, sir. It's our own method. Okay. Method name can be of any name only. Inside the delete method, I'm deleting del space self dot, which variable you want to delete, you can delete. A variable I'm deleting. Now closely observe here. when this variable will be delete, whenever we call this method called delete method, then only this code will execute. Inside the method body, what statements I have written, that statements will execute only when we call this method. But here, how to call this delete method? Using object reference. But how many objects are there? Two objects are there, T1 and T2. So you are calling this delete method, which object to through is the matter. Okay, T1 or T2, you can decide it. So I'm deciding here T1 dot M1, delete method I'm calling. After calling delete method, let's try to print T1 copy reference, T2 copy reference again. Now this time, after calling delete method, what result you're expecting here? T1 copy, T2 copy. On T1 copy, A is gone, like deleted, because T1 object reference through I'm calling this method, so delete method. So A will be deleted. So in this T1 copy, B value 20, C value 30 is there. But in T2 copy, A10, B20, C30 is there. Let's see this. Now, T1 copy only A is deleted or not? Because we are calling this delete method on T1 reference. So which copy object instance variables you deleted, that copy only will affect. Other copy of instance variables will not affect, I am saying. So just observe here clearly, I have given note. We can create any number of objects to the class. For every object, a separate copy of instance variables will be created. If we change or delete one copy of instance variables, then other copy of instance variables will not affect, I am saying. Other copy of instance variables will not affect, sir. Got my point? So here I'm doing what? I'm changing, I'm deleting the one of the copy, like T1 copy, delete method I'm calling. So a variable will be deleted on T1 copy. So it's not affect on T2 copy. If we delete, okay? So we can also delete instance variable instead of inside the class. Outside the class, so we can delete or not? Yes. Outside the class means here we can delete. How to delete? Del space object reference dot b value. Now this time observe. I'm using del keyword. I'm using object reference what? T2 object. So B is deleting. So B is deleted from T2 object. B is still available on T1 object. A is deleted from T1 object, but A is still available on T2 object. So we are deleting B variable value from T2 copy, but T1 copy still B is there, you can see. But B is gone from T2 copy. And we deleted A variable value from T1 copy, but still A is there on T2 copy. So one copy, if it delete or change, other copy will not affect. That is what this is called instance variable. So why instance variables means? Look at here. I'm giving justification of this statement. If the value of variable is varied means different from every object to object, then such type of variables are called instance variables only. So T1 is separate instance variable. T2 is maintaining separate instance variable. If we try to delete one variable like instance variable from T1 copy, T2 copy will not affect. If we try to delete one more copy of T2 variable, then T1 copy will not affect. So this is vice versa. And first observe here, we have only shown delete through only. But according to my statement, if we change or delete is okay. We can delete instance variable inside the class and outside the class, both examples I shown. But change means what? Yes, we can change. For example, you can see I'm trying to do change t1 dot c equals to 99. So this is changing the value. Which object on which object you are changing the value? T1 object. Which value you are changing? C99. But C value actually 30. 30 is becoming 99. 99 will affect on which copy? T1 copy only. T2 copy will not change. So let's run this once again. You'll find clearly this is before doing changes, after doing changes. After doing changes, A is deleted from T1 copy because of this one, and A is not deleted from T2 copy. And B is deleted from T2 copy because of this one. Outside the class, we are deleting instance variable. And because of this one, 99 is changing from 30 to 99 in T1 copy, but T2 copy still value not changed 30 only here. So this is total story of instance variables only. Okay. So what is instance variable? Where we can declare the instance variable, in which places, like inside the constructor using self we can declare, inside the methods we can declare using self, outside of the class by using object reference. Then also how to access instance variable we discuss. We can access instance variable inside the class by using self dot variable name, outside the class by using object reference dot variable name. Even then we have shown like how to delete instance variables. Del space self dot variable name, which is available inside the class. We can delete instance variable outside the class by using del space object reference dot variable name. So this is complete story about instance variables. Only one variable we discuss up to now. This is called object level variables also. Let's talk about static variable now. This is simple, sir. Static variables. So what is static variable? How to work with them? We'll look into that quickly. So now coming to the static variables, sir. So I'm copying this definition. So I'm placing, because small change is required here. So that's what I'm copying and pasting. So look at here, I'm changing this definition. As I said that in the context of instance variable, if the value of variable is varied from object to object, then such type of variables are called instance variable, I said. But if the value of variable is not varied from object to object, then such type of variables we can declare directly. We can declare directly. Okay, we can declare directly inside the class, but outside of the method, outside of the methods, inside the class, but outside of the methods. If the value of variable is not varied from object to object, then such type of variables we can declare directly inside the class, but outside of the methods, are called static variables, are called static or class level variables also we can call it as well. This is class level variables on class level variables. Just closely observe the statement. If the value of variable is not varied from object to object, then such type of variables we can declare directly inside the class, but outside of the methods, are called static or class level variables. So there is only one copy will be created for static variables, sir. There is only one copy will be created for static variables throughout the class. Okay, so that's what when we change static variables or delete static variables, when we change or delete the static variables, it will affect all the objects reference only, all the object reference, all the object reference. Because throughout class only one copy is there. Static variables copy is only one. There is only one copy will be created for static variables. When we change or delete the static variables, it will affect all the object reference only. So how to access static variables means we can access static variables either by using class name or object reference name. Object reference name. But recommended is what you know, class name only, because it's a class level variable. Even we can delete the static variable also, but at this moment I can't show you. Once after completion of method discussion, there I can show you clearly how to delete static variables clearly. I'll talk about static variables more detail in tomorrow's session maybe, because I have to finish the methods discussion also. Like how we are discussing three types of variables and three types of methods also there, like static methods, class method, instance method. Like once method discussion is over, again I will include some important points related to static variable. At this moment, I can able to discuss this much only related to static variables. So what is static variable? How to declare it? How many copies will be create? Let me show you here. Okay. There is only one copy will be created for static variables, sir. When we change or delete the static variables, it will affect all the object reference only. We can access static variables either by using class name or by using object reference name, but recommended is class name only. Let's try to go to an example. Object-oriented programming 7. Let's try to create one quick class df underscore underscore init, but self dot b equals to 20, sir. This is what variable, you know? Instance variable only. How to recognize instance variables, sir? Simple. The variable which is declared with the self inside the class with object reference outside the class, that is called instance variables only. But do you have any static variable here? No. The variable which is declared inside the class but outside of the method is called static or class level variables. This is class level variable. A variable is a static variable, but B is available what? Instance variable only, because inside the constructor we are declaring this B variable using self only. So strictly remember, in throughout the object-oriented programming, the variable which is associated with self inside the class, that is called instance variable only. Fix it. And the variable which is associated with object reference outside the class, that is called what actually? Instance variable only. The variable which we declare inside the class but outside of the method without self clearly a equal 10, this is called static variable or class level variable. So in this program, we included two variables clearly so that you can find the difference between static variables and instance variable both. Let's try to create objects. T1 equals to test. One copy is there. T2 equal to test. Another copy is there. I'm printing T1 copy first. You can also print dictionary format also. Just for a change, I'm giving T1.a, comma, T1.b only. This is T1 copy. Print T2 copy also I'm printing here. T2.a, comma, T2.b only. Sorry, T1, both are T1 only. Now once I run this, so both copies will maintain the reference like T1 a value 10, it's a static variable value. T1.b, it's an instance variable value. Here also a value 10, b value 2, b value 21. Fine. Now I'm going to change the static variable value only from 10 to some 99. Generally, how to access this static variables are by using class name is recommend. So let's change the test.a equals to 99. After changing this test.a equals to 99, once again I'm printing two copies of the references. Once we change the static variable value from 10 to 99, all the copies will be affected or not? Yes, because throughout the class, only static variables will maintain only one copy. So once we change this value of the variable static variable, it will affect on T1 copy, it will affect on T2 copy only. 99, 99. But here we have a B variable also, that is instance variable. Once I change the instance variable, you can see B equals to T1.b equals to 88 I'm taking. Which copy of instance variable you are changing? T1 copy. So 88 will affect on T1 copy only. It's not affect on T2 copy. T2 still it is having 20 only. So this is the very clear difference, instance variable and static variable. So static variables will maintain only one copy throughout the class, whereas instance variables will maintain separate copy for every object reference. So in the instance variable cases, once we change one copy of instance variable value, other copies will not affect. In the static variable context, once we change the static variable, that is class level variable, it will affect all the object reference clearly. So this is the difference between instance and class level variables clearly. How to recognize class level variables, sir? Look at here. The variable which is declared on top of the program, that is inside the class, outside the method, this is called what? Static variable. How to recognize instance variable? The variable which is declared inside the class using self, either it can be inside the constructor, inside the method, self associated, this is called instance variable only. So next I'm talking about local variable. This is called method level variable. These are very simple, sir. The variable which is declared inside the particular method, and that variables we can able to access only in that method, is called local variable or method level variable. Look at here. The variables which are declared inside the method, and that variables can only be accessed in that method, is called local or method level variables. We can say that method level variables are local variables cannot access outside of the method. Local variables cannot access outside of the methods, sir. Outside of the methods we cannot access local variable. Okay, so next these local variables are also called as temporary variables, sir. Local variables also called as what variables? Temporary variables. Why? Because as soon as method execution begins, then local variables will be created. Local variables will be created, sir. Once method execution completes, then the variables will be deleted automatically. Variables will be destroyed. That's the reason we can say these variables are called what variables? Local, what is that? Temporary variables. So the variables which are declared inside the method, and that variables are available only particular method which we declared, where we declare in that method only we can access. Other methods outside the method we cannot access. That kind of variables are called local variables or method level variables, sir. So local variables cannot access outside of the methods. Within the same method only we can access where we declare them. Local variables also called as temporary variables, because as soon as method execution begins, then local variables will be created automatically. Once method execution completes, then the local variables will be destroyed. Again, when we call the method, it will create. When we stop the execution, it will destroy. So this is temporary variables, we can call it as. So how to recognize local variables means the variable which is declared inside a particular method without self is called local variable. If we use self, it will become instance variable. So let's try to do this. Object-oriented programming 8. Class test. df m1 method I'm taking. A value 10. Print A. So this is local variable of m1 method. So df m2. B value 20. Print B. This is local variable of m2 method. E equal to test. So I'm calling t.m1 method, and I'm calling t.m2 method also. So let's run this object-oriented programming 8 program. So this will be clear. A value 10, B value 20, M1 method through we are getting 10 value, M2 method through we are getting 20 value. Suppose if I'm trying to access inside the M2 A variable value, is this possible, sir? So not sir. Name error will come because this A variable name is not defined inside the M2, but you are trying to access them. So name A is not defined, line number 9. So this is not defined. Similarly, the variable which is declared inside the M2 method B, I'm trying to access inside the M1 method A, M1 method only B. So that's not possible. B is not defined, line number 5. So which variable we are declaring in which method, on that method only we have to access. This type of variables are called what, sir? Local variables or method level variables only. But once I change this self only, self.a I'm taking. So whenever we added for this variable like self, then it will become what variable? Instance variable. So instance variable A, we can access inside the M1 because we are declaring here. Even we can access inside the M2 also, because instance variable we can access anywhere, no problem. A variable we can access inside the M2 also, sir. Now you can see when we call M1 method, self dot A is coming, 10 value. When we call M2 method, B variable value 20 is coming, A variable value 10 also coming here. This is M2 method. So this is the clear difference, sir. Okay. At least you should be in a position to recognize the variables which is variable. So the variable which is associated with self is called instance variable. The variable which is not associated with self, only without self, when we declare the variable inside a particular method, is called local variable. And the variable which is declared outside the method, inside the class, on top of the program, is called static variable. So I hope you understand this difference between three type of variables. Same description you can find in my advanced Python PDF document. Even I have shared in my WhatsApp group also. Today, along with video, I will send once again that advanced Python PDF to your mails also. You can download it. Okay. So today, along with video, after a few minutes, you can check your mails. You will find advanced Python PDF material into your mail, and along with this video also clearly. So that's all from my side today. If you have any question, you can feel free to ask me now. Next, tomorrow will come across like methods, different types of methods. In Python object-oriented programming, class is a collection of variables and methods. We discuss three types of variables. Tomorrow we'll come across three types of methods also. Once methods completion, I will include some more important points related to static variable only. How to delete them, where we can access them, clearly we'll discuss. Okay, see you tomorrow.